Front. Hey everyone, Dave here with Affordable Door and Gate. We're going a little old school. The mic, the mic, the mic passed away on us. It is not working, so I can't do my normal. But I wanted to still jump on here because I told you I'd be back. I'm back. I want to talk about this. Give me just a second here to kind of get signed up to the computer so I can see everything. I got spoiled. I ain't gonna lie. I got a little spoiled with the whole be able to do it for the computer. It's more convenient that way. So anywho, I'm still getting a lot of emails. I'm getting comments still on the old Home Advisor, and I get guys that are asking me basically like, hey, should I even consider this? The long story short is no, do not do it unless you want to waste money. I'm going to tell you some little ticks, or what am I trying to say? Some tricks and tips. But anywho, so here's how I'd play it if you're ever gonna play it. What I would do is I would actually set up however you gotta do it. If you gotta set up basically you need to get a credit card. You need to get a credit card that is one that you can just turn off in an instant. If you ever want to know more details on it, there's a guy named on YouTube that's Toe Piglet. Toe Piglet actually was the one that came across. You have to pay for it, but it sets up like dummy accounts. Now, I was talking to the wife. The wife was saying something about that Apple Pay does something of that nature too. So I don't know if you could do, I'm not real familiar with Apple Pay, but what I'm thinking is if you did something of that nature, that might not be a bad idea. Can't do that. That's too much echo. All right. I think we're kind of set up. We got the fire going. You can't really see it's behind me. I'll show it to you if you need to. So with the Home Advisor, we did we did a little bit of Angie's List. We also did a little bit of Home Advisor. And it was not worth it. I could not get any jobs. We got a few, I ain't gonna lie. But then it started, I think it's gotten a lot worse. It started going where they started going like, they're almost like robots, right? They weren't legit leads. And so with not legit leads, you know how it is, they're rolling you into this stuff. They're getting you to spend money. And we're not generating no money off this stuff. You know what I mean? And it's funny because with another business I own, I was literally gonna do another one of those, but it wasn't Angie's and it wasn't Home Advisor. It was another service that I didn't even realize. And at the time, I kept thinking to myself, oh, it's one of those things I think we all can get roped up into where we get desperate. And we think, we got to do something, right? We got to do something to generate leads, generate business. I mean, there's just not enough time in the day to go out and knock on all the doors and put all the business cards out and all these things and signs and whatever. And what I found was, what was great about this company, I didn't know they were going to do this. They actually took my information and they still send me the leads. But what it is that every time the lead comes through, I can click on it and spend like, I don't know, I think it's like $334 a month. And that just gets you to sign up to it. That's not even including the lead, right? And then what's really interesting about it is I think it's funny because the leads that they do give me, that they obviously don't pay for the service, they're not even in my area. It's hilarious. Like, I mean, they're if I was young and dumb still, which I still am sometimes, I would literally, I would chase these, right? I mean, and these things are all of 45 to an hour and 15 minutes one way. You know what I mean? And I look at these leads and I go, oh my gosh, I'm so happy that I didn't end up signing up for this and paying, because for first of all, you got to pay the $334 a month regardless, right? And then you got to do you know, it's probably whatever it is per lead, right? They get 20 bucks or something per lead. I don't know for sure because I'm not going to sign up to it. But I never realized how hard it was that when you get signed up to these things, they're like impossible to get rid of. I just read a comment today from somebody, and they were saying how they had to break their contract early. I think they had to pay a penalty, and because they couldn't get a hold of their sales rep. And I remember this. I remember it was either Angie's or Home Advisor. And I remember somebody, I told the dude, I said, you're going to be my guy, right? Oh, yes, you just need to sign up, blah, 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 right? Because I know how this goes. They give you the whole spew, the whole, the kissy, kissy, kissy. And I said, you're going to be my guy, right? When I call, you're going to pick up the phone. Oh, yeah, right. They never give you their direct cell phone number, right? They never give you the direct line. It's like you call back and you're like, hey, I was talking to Jose. And they're like, Jose, which one? There's 201 that work here. And they're like, I don't know, the one that signed up my account. Well, let me look. Oh, there isn't nothing. I can help you with this. You know, you don't need him. What can I help you with, sir? And you're like, well, you know, things aren't really panning out or this or that. And I always thought to myself, I kept thinking, why don't they just give me some free service? If it's really that good of a service, give me some freebies here. You know what I mean? Like sign me up for a month and let me experience and run through this. But they don't do that, right? First thing is always they want to get that credit card on file. They want to get that payment going. They want to get in your bank account and then get you signed up. Mr. Tony, what's Mr. Tony doing? Tony, what'd you do today? Did you make any money today? Or did you lose money today? It's good to see you. So I think hopefully the audio's okay. I think the audio's okay. Let me turn it up just a little bit. Yep, I think you can hear me at least on this. Like I said, no mic here. I've heard kind of weird things about these. This guy right here is what I use. He isn't working so good. I don't know what's the deal. I don't know what the deal is on it. But anywho, like I said, I know on lives it's kind of hard to get feedback on the whole Angie's. It takes a while to generate. But like I said, you know, if you got any experience with it at all or thinking about it, let me know. Let me know because I'd rather, you know, I was the guinea pig. I was the dumb one. I did stupid. That was stupid. And I've told you guys probably this before. Maybe you've heard it, maybe you haven't. But I remember when I signed up for it, right? You know, I mean, I'm a pretty competitive guy, right? And I remember we would get these leads, right? I remember they'd like come across my phone, and I remember I would literally like start driving. I would start driving right that minute, boom, I'd stop what I'm doing. I'd start driving to the customer right there. I'd start driving. And I'm like calling them at the same time, ringing their phone, right? And there'd be times like, it was like there must be like they're delayed or something because I remember I'd like show up. I remember when I showed up and my competitor's there. And I like drove by and I'm like doing like how in the heck did he beat me? He's like the same distance or a little farther away, like, and he's in a driveway. Like, how does this even? So see, I think there's some delays to them too. Like, I think they might, maybe if somebody pays a little bit more. I mean, think about it. Come on, guys. It's a business. Why not, right? If somebody's paying a little bit more, oh, that lead goes to them first. And then, you know, we give it a 10-minute or 15 or 20-minute or hour timer and it'll kick it off because this stuff, it's kind of like the whole Google, right? We don't know how this stuff works. I still don't. Nobody knows how it works. It's like mysterious. Nobody knows. Cool. Mr. Kicks. Audio's good. Appreciate it. That's awesome. So anywho, I just, like I said, I'm kind of bummed the mic broke on me. But I'm here. And like I said, if you got any questions, anything about business, I just wanted to come on here and tell you a little bit more about the Angie's or the Home Advisor and the bad experiences because they just never added up for us. They were like, I think they were definitely sending us false leads. We had a lot of just a bad experience. Oh, and by the way, if you're here, if you don't mind, give it a thumbs up. It always helps push it out, brings more people into the community, more chats, which is always great because I love getting feedback. I talked to, I believe, Jason today. Jason, you got to correct me if I'm wrong, man, but you called me today. He called me. And like I always said, I never answer my phone. So he finally texted me, and he's talking about possibly doing some high-speed doors, which is awesome, up here in Michigan. And he was looking to see if maybe we'd help him out. And I said, hey, I said, if you line it up. And that's pretty cool because with the company he might be using there, they'll send out a tech, and that tech will come out for the first time you pay them. I don't know how much. And they'll help you run through the speed door, the high speed door, which I think is great. I think that's a great way to do it. And I just, just to get you trained. I guess basically once you get trained on them, it's not so bad. You can kind of do their other brands. I don't want to say it. It's kind of his gig, so I don't want to get too many details on it. But he's going to see if he can secure the job. So that's pretty neat. But that's a great way. It's just the organic way. Instead of, like I said, I just feel so bad for some of these younger guys that are starting out that are, and like I said, with another business I run, I literally just about did the same thing. I mean, I don't know why, and I sat back and I said, yeah, you know what, I don't know what stopped me. I think it was just because of the upfront money and the fact that they wanted a contract. And I remember when I did the biggest last contract I did was for our software, and I wish I could remember the name. But they wanted I think they got like $3,000 or $5,000 from us upfront, right? It's a contract, and we're like, all right, we got to do something for CRM system. And then we went to GoDaddy, and GoDaddy was like, oh my gosh, this is way better. It's smoother. Everybody understands it. It's like Google. It's animated. It's colorful. It's beautiful. It works. It's not glitchy. And what was beautiful is I liked the fact that it was a no contract. You know what I mean? Like it's just we go. Right? Like I pay you per month. I can possibly pay you, bi-quarterly or yearly if I like. But see, I always like to start out with the month. I'd rather pay a little bit more and test it out, right? Because if you got a good product, it's not a problem. I'm gonna run with it, right? I'm gonna keep using it. And then I have options, and I like when they do improvements where some of these companies, it just seems like nothing ever gets improved on. You know what I mean? Like it stays the same or it gets worse. And it's horrible that a lot of these companies will get you signed up for things and they're not 100%. Do you guys remember me telling you? I remember that this was an embarrassing one. I signed up for a phone book, right? That was a big deal back in the day. This city that's close to where the shop is, right? I thought it was going to be a big shot. And I remember I ended up, I signed up for it. It was for a year, right? For a year. Let me make that clear. And I remember I signed up for it for a year. It was to get us basically, I think we were half of the page on the front page of the phone book. I don't think we were a full page. That was too much. That was like over $100 and some dollars. It might have been like $200, right? But I mean, it was a big deal to be in the front of this phone book. And so I got a half a page. I think we were either top or second on the first page. And I remember it was right around like $89, $85. And so what they did is they gave me a different phone number. And so what they did is they changed my phone number. And then what they did is I don't know what's going on here. I got some weird software updates ticking me off. And so what they did is they give me a different phone number. And I start kicking this thing off, right? And I mean, I was pumped, man. I was pumped. I was like, we are going to get so much business. And in a nutshell, we did get a lot of business. A lot of business that was crap. I could not believe how many people I had that would call me. And it was how do I say this? It was ghetto. It was just everybody and their brother and sister, just garbage. Like they'd start asking me questions. Hey, can you come out and take a look or something, blah, blah, blah. And come to find out, I believe it was 30 seconds. It might have only been, no, was it 30 seconds? I think it was 30 seconds to either take that phone call. Because I finally called them within like a month or two. And I said, look, I got a problem. I said, these phone calls, I'm getting jobs and they're not converting into sales. What do I do? And I remember they said, well, oh, yeah, it's okay. You got 30 seconds, right? You got 30 seconds to either hang up, then you won't get charged, or after 30 seconds, you're going to get charged. Because then we figure that you kind of know, because we know sometimes you might get rogue calls or you might get, hi, would you like to upgrade your car insurance? Jeez, no, just charge, it just cost me $85 or whatever. And so I remember I got it down to the point, right? Because I remember very specifically, I was actually out hunting. I was hunting with my dad. And I was the secretary at the time, right? I'm answering the phone and everything. And I remember being up in the tree stand, right? And I had my phone set, like I had two separate phones. I carried two phones with me. And so when this one rang, man, it was go time because that thing was costing me $85, right? A lick. So it was like ringing, ringing. Yeah, up in a tree stand, can you imagine, hunting for deer, and it's like, oh, hello? Yeah, man, I forget. Please, say what you're going to say. I need to know if I need to hang up on you. And so I got it down to a rhythm, right? And what I would do is I would answer that phone, and I remember I'd be like, hi, thank you for calling Affordable Door and Gates. Our number has changed. It has changed to 231, yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? Again, that number is 231, yada, 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 right? I'd just go on like that. And I remember I would literally not even hold the phone up to my ear because I didn't want to hear the customer be like, jeez, what a stupid, why did I even call? I didn't want nothing to screw me up. So I'd hold it away and I'd just go be like, hi, you've called Dave, or not Dave, but I'd say Affordable Door and Gate, blah, 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 blah. Please call that number. Thank you. And I had it down. I had this rhythm down pat. So, and it was funny because it weeded out a lot of people. It was really amazing to me how many people it weeded out because it was almost like the people that really wanted service or really wanted another quote or were really serious, they would take the effort and they would do it. But the riffraff, they were always looking for the freebie, right? They were always just, whatever, I'm not calling the other number, geez. I'm just looking for somebody to come out here and give me a price, you know what I mean? Because, it ain't my time, my gas, my energy, whatever. That's just how it felt anyways. And I tell you what, that saved me hundreds upon thousands of dollars because like I said, I signed up for this thing for a year, and it was really stupid looking back. I got, I just saw 85. I was thinking, heck, we're making $200 to $400 a job, and I thought, yeah, it's a little bit. And the worst part was what I wasn't doing, right? Dumb here. I wasn't taking into consideration the distance, right? The travel, like I always preach to you guys now, the travel, you know what I mean? Just to go out there to detail it, it would have been a 45-minute drive on a good day. You know what I mean? One way to go look at these jobs. And of course, this was kind of before the whole, everybody had really smartphones. We were still in kind of the Nokia days, right? Nokia and BlackBerry and, stuff that wasn't taking very good pictures. And, email was kind of coming around. But I remember, like I said, that thing, it was a nightmare because I had to carry that thing with me for a whole year. I could not, I had on there too, on our listing and everything, it was 24-hour service. So I got that phone number switched to a dedicated cell phone because obviously it didn't matter if I was on vacation with my family, I was in a hotel, I was out hunting, I was in a trailer sleeping. And a couple times I'd miss a few and it was like, oh, you know what I mean? And even if it went to voicemail, because it went to voicemail, it took over 30 seconds, they would charge you for it. So it's just something to think about. It was a real bear, man. It was, so like with these Angies, I don't know if there's any secrets to it. If you guys know, let us know. Let us all know so the community knows because I don't know if they're letting you reject anything. I don't think they do because it's kind of like, it seemed like it sends it to you almost like email and your phone also might ring from them, but it's just, they're getting into your pockets big time. And I just don't want people to get screwed over. Because now that we have the power of the internet, we can discuss this, right? And we can have comments and we can do our own research and we can fight against this, tyranny of people stealing your money, right? If they provide a good service, that's awesome. But I tell you what, 98.7% of what I hear for feedback, people are saying I got screwed. People are saying they had a bad experience. People are saying it's not legit. They can't get out of the contract. And that's just telling me that they're probably not, because you're always going to get the one guy that's, I don't know, the mega millionaire guy that's like, we use it all the time. It works great. And it's like, you don't even care. You know what I mean? That doesn't even bother you. You know what I mean? Or you're not even being serious, or you're just lying. You know what I mean? Because like I said, 98.7 of the people I talk to or see the comments or get the emails. I literally had one, I should have brought the email up. He was talking about, he used to work for them, and I was absolutely right about some of the stuff I was saying. And it was a great email. I was really so happy. Oh, what's that Tony say? He says, they're the worst. You're not even guaranteed the job pay, all the money out. Yep. Isn't that the truth? You know what I mean? And that's what kind of irritates me, is that it's not like there's nothing you can do. And they all of a sudden, right from the get-go, they whack you for it. You know what I mean? And I thought it was going to be more like they were going to charge you percentages or something. Like you'd have to send them like a price. Kind of like what Home Depot did a long time ago for me, where we would go out, they'd give us the lead, right? And they would generate the paperwork and everything. And we would go out there. And it was really weird. People were getting kind of screwed over by that too. But I remember this one time I had, like I said, we were doing Lowe's, and then we ended up, we started getting kind of into Home Depot a little bit. We started dabbling with them. And I remember I drove up to this lady. She was a long ways away. I was already up there doing another job. And I hit this one on the way back home. And I mean, holy cow. It was a super long job. I think they're roughly about 2.5 hours away is what this lady was from the shop. One way. Stupid, right? And I remember I got up there, and the lady is just, I mean, like a little bit over ecstatic almost about this garage. She's like, I am just so happy about my new garage door. And I'm like, am I missing something here? Do I not quite understand what's going on? Like, did you already buy one, or like, am I under contract? Am I like, is there an obligation here that I don't know about? And this was my first one I did in a nutshell. This might have been second or third, but this lady was super excited. And it was amazing because the power of a credit card. That's what it was. And she's like, I got my new Home Depot credit card, and she's like, I'm just so excited about my garage door. And I'm sitting there just kind of like, lady, as far as I know, you don't even have a price yet. Like, what are you all excited about? Like, I mean, like, do you know something? I mean, I was so confused, right? And I thought, well, I got to give them a price, which was really different compared to Lowe's, right? Lowe's kind of had a set standard. Here's the price. We could go in there and maybe do some custom, right? Say we have to do some custom work or custom backings or something to say, hey, we got to charge another $20, $40, $60, $100, whatever it might be. The Home Depot would let you just come in there and basically name your price. So I went back. I remember thinking about it, and I thought, well, I already had the travel there, which wasn't too far off my route from coming back from where I was at another job, but we got to go back up there. We got to install it. We got to take care of her old door. We got to haul that back, right? I already got to factor in that we're going to have one more service call, right? I mean, I got to at least factor that in there, that we're going to have a cable thrown off, or she puts a broom in the track of the garage door. Something, right? Something's going to happen. So I got to factor that in there. And I mean, realistically, I like to factor 2 service calls of a oops in there for some reason. Hey, we didn't do a set screw or something, right? But I only did the one. So I think we were like $400 to $600 over what a normal door would be, right? Normal garage door. And I remember we submitted it, right? And then what was the crazy part is Home Depot would literally like, I forget what the margins were, but it was huge. Like, I mean, she was paying double what a normal garage door would be. Double at least. Double. And I remember it got approved. We got the paperwork saying, hey, this job is a go. I forget even how we got, if they delivered us the door or we had to go to the store and pick it up. I feel like we had to go to the store and pick it up. And so we went up there, installed it. She was just still happy as a clam. And I mean, I sat there, and that was one of those things in my head snapped where I told myself, if you can offer financing, you might be able to kind of schnook her people a little bit. Not saying it's right, but she was just, all she cared about is she wanted her new garage door. She wanted to park inside. She didn't want her car having snow on it. She got a brand new credit card. I don't know how, obviously. That's not my department, right? I mean, that's not my business. I don't know if she had a husband. I had never seen him. I just seen her. And I like, after we were up there installing it and stuff, you know how you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you, but you're also like sitting there and you like almost want to like pick at her a little bit and just be like, ma'am, just saying, you probably could have like called another garage door company around here, and you could have probably got this door for like half the price. That's not me to say, I'm not here to say, I don't want her, calling Home Depot and, your guys up here bashing you guys. And I get a phone call from corporate and they tell me, what the heck are you doing? You know what I mean? And, we're going to have to find a different vendor. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I'm up there just to give them a price. We make the job happen. If it happens, it's up to them. They want to pay, whatever. That's their financing. That's not me, right? But it's just weird. Sometimes it's hard sometimes in the business because you never know what people are going to, how they're going to do things. It still blows my mind to this day about, like I said, Lowe's, how many times we didn't have people that would come up and be like, who are you? Like, why didn't I just contact you? Because we'd have like our business name on the side of the truck. And it was like, and I think that's why I always tell a lot of guys, I always tell you guys about always getting like the half down. And when you're going out there, you're basically going there to collect a deposit, because there's just something about when you tie up that money, it's different. It's different. You know what I mean? It's almost like going to the bathroom. It's in the toilet bowl, and all it needs to do is be flushed. You know what I mean? It's already been done. I've been relieved. The money has been dispensed. I don't have to think about it anymore. I can go on the sofa, I can go on the recliner, I can watch whatever, right? I can watch the football game, I can watch the whatever, the news, the weatherman, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it blows my mind how people will just be done with it once you tie up the money, right? And like I said, that lady had that piece of plastic in her hand, that business, that credit card, and she didn't care. She just knew it was through Home Depot, and she was gonna get herself a new garage door, and she didn't care the cost. It was just, I'm financing it, versus, you think about the interest she has to pay on that, and where she could have got it for half, and maybe it wouldn't have been financed. Maybe it would have been through another door company. But just some things to think about. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, comment below if you've had experiences like that. You know what I mean? Like, and, let me know too. Do you guys do financing, or do you not do financing? You know what I mean? We have one company we work with which is really good. It's really fast and it works really nice. But we don't really promote it that much. Most of our customers are either going to pay, they always like to use a credit card, or they pay us just out of their, write a check. Some still do pay with cash, which I'm not always a big fan of. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like cash, but it's complicated, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of something to always think about, So, Tony, you didn't tell me if you made any money today. If you're still on here. What does it say there? Yeah. You're not using them anymore, are you, Tony? I don't think you probably are, is my guess. Which one do you ever use, Tony? Let me know. Do you use Home Advisor, Angie's, both? I think there was another one in that screenshot I had. I'm sure there's all kinds of companies coming out there nowadays that are trying to come up with new stuff. You know what I mean? But like I said, you don't want to get burned by them. You know, they're a real scam. They just, it's sad. It's sad. Just don't get hooked up. But like I said, if you do, play the game smart. Like I said, if they only do it for like a month contract, I don't know if they allow that. I don't know a lot of the details because I don't even want to interact with them anymore. They burned me so bad. I remember the lady being on there, right? The Angie's lady, right? Always, oh, right? You know, oh, we'll get you somebody. And I thought, you know, it's really misleading. It's really misleading to the general public. And if somebody knows about Better Business Bureau, I got some heat with them too, because I think they're also a scam. I used to be, when I was a consumer, before I ran a business, I used to believe in them. You know, hey, you go there. I don't even really see them advertise that much anymore. You know, and it was always one of those things like when you used to go to the bank or you go to certain businesses, right? They got their little things, you know, the Better Business Bureau right here. This is a Better Business approved location or whatever it would say. I didn't like when they would call me and they wanted me to pay money, right? This is just me. They wanted me to pay money and they acted like if I didn't pay them money, they were going to, like my rating was going to go down. And I thought, how does that even like, what do you mean? If my ratings are going to go down. I mean, I thought this was organic. I thought these were supposed to be customers and supposed to be, you know, the only one I think is really organic in a nutshell is probably Google. I really do. I think they're the only ones that really push, you know, the reviews and stuff like that. And if you want an honest kind of opinion, and honestly, if you're using contractors, you should always, you know, if you're nervous or don't know, you should also, you know, contact, you know, some jobs that they've done and maybe even go past them or look at them and, you know, make sure they're actually legit people versus, you know, like the Better Business Bureau. I couldn't believe that. I just still this day, like I said, I never did any more with them. I really just tried to avoid them because they always would send me like this like weird like voicemail too. It really ticked me off. They'd be like, hi, this is always some really lame person, right? They'd be like, hi, this is the Better Business Bureau. We've had a certain issue with your account. And they would word it a certain way, right? You know, like to make you be like, oh goodness, I got an issue with my account. I better call them. I don't want my account to be bad. Like it was almost like they'd be like, it's free. There's something wrong with your account. We need to address this with you. If you could please call us back at 888, go screw yourself. That'd be great. And you're like, whoa, you know what I mean? So like you call them back and they'd start telling you something about like, you know, some bull crap about, you know, well, if if you want, you can sign up for our premium package. And you're like, premium package? I thought, like, did somebody write like a bad review about me or something? And who was it? Who was it? I want to know. Was it Betty? Was it Betty White? I kick her butt, you know? So, yeah, we got Tony. This is Angie's, and they suck. Oh man, do they ever? We should just, we should start doing that on our signs and stuff. Angie sucks. Home advisor sucks. You know what I mean? I'm waiting for it. That's right. Tony says, love Google. I think Google's about the honest. You know what I mean? I think you can do ads with them and you can spend some money and it can be very complicated, but the reviews, my opinion, I think they're organic, they're real. You get to see a name, you know, all these other things. And I think they actually do their own tracking and stuff. But like I said, the rest of them, it just always seems like they're always trying to get in your pocketbook. And I don't know which one. Like I said, hey, if anybody ever knows, let me know. You know, shoot me an email. You can put it in the comments. Sometimes I see them, you know, and say, hey, man, I've had really good luck with this. You know, but the thing is, I'm probably not just going to take your word. I got to hear it like 3 or 4 times from other people. You know what I mean? And I'm going to do my own research because I don't know if anybody, maybe somebody on here, has anybody had any luck? What is it? The Nextdoor. Have you guys used the Nextdoor app? I don't know. I'm not real familiar with it, but I think you're better off just putting. You could just put your own ads on it. You know what I mean? Like just do it as a personal one. Be like, hey, running a special right now, or hey, I'm in your neighborhood. I service garage doors or whatever the case may be. I tried to do a sponsored one time, and it just seemed like it was. I don't know, man. It seemed like it didn't work. You know what I mean? Like I got like zero. Like I get like impressions on it, but I couldn't believe I wasn't getting like any questions or hey, I'm interested in your service. It seemed really dull. Like I thought, in the way it would like I would see it pop up like organically a little bit. And then when I did their website, oh man, that was bad. The website was bad. Like it was painful to even to write the stuff out and to I don't know how to explain it. It's like using Microsoft Excel. You know what I mean? It was just dull. Like it was like, oh my gosh, like I gotta, then you do it all. I've even used never had good luck either with Zillow. I've used Zillow as one of them too. Zillow's been and I can't get no customer service. I've asked them. I said, "Hey, I've done a campaign with you guys." I said, "Hey, I'd like to, know how I can improve on it, or what have I done wrong?" I said, "But the thing is," I said, "I can't even find it." And the worst part is like you could do a budget. I think it's like $500 just to start out. And I thought, okay, that's fine, right? Well, I started trying to zoom into a certain area, and then it would be like your campaign like you can't do that. Like that's too much money for such a short period of time. So I'm like, okay. So then I try to extend it out, right? You try to like, okay, I'll add on 3 more months, and that still wasn't good enough. So then I tried increasing the area, right? Like I did like a whole county, and then it was like, oh, that's still, and I'm like, it's like these people won't take my money. You know what I mean? I'm giving you $500, and I got a certain targeted area I want to shoot for, and you guys won't take it. So I had to like blow it up to a certain regional area. I still can't find the ad to this day. I can't. I've emailed them twice, and I'm like, well, there was $500 wasted. Can't get them. Can't get a hold of them. That's irritating. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, you've kind of lost my business, and I think they got a good market because hey, you're dealing with people selling houses, buying houses, fixing all this kind of stuff through Zillow. But I was not impressed. Like I said, $500, just kissed it to the wind, baby. It was gone. It was gone. I can't think of any. Like I said, I've done some Google ads too, but those ones are the same thing. I've had Google ads, and it's like, unless you're like got to be like a super pro, I could see like the impressions, but you can't. It just. And like I said, I'm not an expert in that part of the Google world, but it seems like you could pee away a lot of money and get zero. And that's the thing I hate about it. It's like I want to see. Like I want to know, like I want them to be above and beyond, right? I want it to be like, holy cow, man, like shut this thing off. You know what I mean? Like we're getting too many phone calls. We got so much work, we can't even like turn this off. That's what I'd like it to be in the line of business, right? Like, but it normally doesn't turn out. It's like you just see your money kind of dwindling away, and then you can increase your ad revenue, and you're like, I'm not getting no jobs. And the person that just gave me a job, they already heard me from a referral, like from somebody else. So what am I doing here? Why am I spending this money? You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those weird things. So I tried asking the lady today at Lowe's. I said, hey, Mr. Sky Overhead. What is it? Sky? Yeah, Sky Overhead. Cheers. That's right. Cheers. Cheers. But I went to Lowe's. I tried asking the lady today. I said, hey, does it seem like it's a little like slow? I mean, I went into the store, and it was. I just don't remember the stores being so desolate. You know what I mean? Like I'm like looking down the aisles, and I'm like, there's a few guys there, right? Like one guy's getting like a 5-gallon bucket of paint, and I'm like, well, there's $150. paint's ridiculous. And I asked her, and she said, well, yeah, she says, it's supposed to be like our busiest time, they say, but she's like, I'm not seeing it. She didn't really have a real good grasp on it, but I thought, I don't know about you, but every time I'm going into these stores, like there's just not the contractors like I used to see. I literally seen today, it popped up on my phone, one of the builders, um, what did he do? I think he's got for around here, it's kind of a semi-high house. It's a $400,000 house. And I seen he knocked off 15K off the house. And I thought, whoa, brand new construction. And I thought, wow, that's not a good shine. And I've been seeing that quite a bit, a lot of these houses, but not basically 14 or 15K. It was, I've been seeing like they do like a little 5K, like a little nibble. But see, right here, Sky Overhead says Lowe's has been dead around here. I'm glad you mentioned that, man. I tell you, I always feel like I'm the crazy one. You know what I mean? Like I've been going past my one buddy's place, does some truck accessory stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I can tell they're not. What's really been surprising, this has been going on for, I bet, almost 6 months. We have a a tire place in town, and they are just, they do tires and they also do like automotive repair, and they've always been pretty cheap. You know what I mean? Like just the prices are great. And I cannot believe how dead their parking lot is. Just cannot believe it. I've never seen it, even when economy was good or economy was bad. Their parking lot always had still, 5, 6, 8 cars in there. And it's like a ghost town. Like I just like, and it's like the other day I went by and it's like they turned on their blinking light, like now it's flashing, like open, yes, we're open, come on in. And it's like, ooh, that ain't looking good. But, they keep saying that, the economy's doing great, What's Mr. Tony got here? So the best thing for a newbie is to sign up with Google Maps. Ooh, this I might even have to. Google Maps. Once you're on the Google, all the other platforms will take the information and put it on there. You might be onto something there, Tony, because how do I say it? I think Google's getting pickier. That's just my opinion. I think if you maybe you can mention something on this, Tony. So I have another, how do I say it? I got another chunk of property, and I signed that up with another business, and I tell you what, it was like automatic. Like, I think it's kind of like what you're saying, because they want a location. I don't know for sure, but I don't know if they're starting to, how do I say it? Like, they don't want the people working out of their house type of thing. Does that make sense? Like they want legitimate, like they want to start being the Cadillac of legitimate companies. That's just a feeling I'm getting, because when I signed up years and years ago with Google, or a lot of that stuff, anything that was kind of the maybe Yelp or Google or phone book or anything, it was a lot easier. Like it didn't matter. You just had to pay money. That was all it was, really. It was just like, give us some money. I remember Google would be like, maybe they'd send something to your address, like a PIN to verify. But when I've signed up other businesses, holy moly. I mean, like I said, they want you to turn in a key in front of the vehicle, and like Google's like really advanced. Like they know where the picture was taken. You know what I mean? Like where the location, they pin it. I've had to take video. I've had to take, like a street sign. I've had to take a business, like the address and a sign. They've gotten really, like I thought, this is a pain in the ass. I just kept thinking, I don't know, like how to explain it. So let me see what it says, Tony. It's easy to read on the computer over here. To answer your question, Dave, yes, we've made money today, but found out our scissor lift. Oh, scissor lift. I can't read the comments in the way of this thing. They always put these little hearts. You guys can give me hearts. Give me hearts. I don't know what happens when you click the hearts. But the darn heart thing is in my way for the last part. Normally I know how to scroll down out of it, but I can't do it right now. Scissor lift has a couple worn out bushings. Don't know if we can get bushings for it. So a loser day. Ooh, what kind of scissor lift, Tony? Is it what kind of scissor lift? Is it an upright? Is it a genie? What kind is it? I'm just curious. We should probably we got one scissor lift. We should probably think about retiring, but it just keeps chugging along, you know. And it's kind of scissor lifts are expensive, and the worst part is when you get into scissor lifts. How do I? Honestly, you know, when it comes to scissor lifts, I was doing pretty good. I did my research, and I got it down to because I'd find a certain year through a lot of these people that would rent them. I was always finding a certain year that they would they'd be selling them, right? And I can't remember if it was like they were right in the 3 to 4 year range. I can't remember. I had it down when I was looking for them hardcore, and I started thinking about it. I thought, what's up with this? Why are they all selling them these rental companies? You know what I mean? And I even talked to some of the rental companies. I said, hey, I might, you know, and they'd be like, oh yeah, we'll sell you. And I actually the one we bought, our last one, that was a genie, we bought from a rental company, and I don't know if that's such a smooth idea or not, but it was just. We were in the heat of the moment. We needed it. We needed something bigger. We knew this one worked. We've been using it. So we basically bought it. And of course, what happens? I mean, it seems like within, oh gosh, I don't know, a few months, 3 to 6 months, right? The batteries basically puke out in it. And it's like, awesome. And then I remember the charger went on it. And it's like, that's awesome as well. And I thought, holy cow, did we buy a freaking lemon? You know, and I thought, so what I started figuring out was that these rental companies are selling them because they know the battery life's on these. They got it down to a science. So what they do is they just bring in new ones. And at the time it was like, it could have been around $3,000 or $5,000 more to buy the brand new one than kind of what we bought for a used one. And I just wasn't, I wasn't still knowledgeable enough, and I don't want to spend that kind of money yet. But looking at it right now, I haven't looked at the prices since the whole cough syndrome, but they've probably gone up quite a bit. And so when that time comes again, I might kind of look at it and go, ew, no, I'm not spending that kind of money. Like, we'll buy another used one. But scissor lifts are really tough because there's just so many things. I mean, I learned so much when I had my old upright. You know, I take it in there and they'd be like, wow, to bring this thing up to certification, it's got to have stickers, it needs to be repainted, it needs new tires, it needs this, it needs another battery connection, the motor's not working so good, the joystick, the safety's not, blah, blah, you know, I mean, the brakes aren't working. And it's like, well, how much to fix all that? And they're like, you're probably looking at $12,000. And you're like, hop, I bought it for like $4,000. I can't justify that. You know, and I'm kind of a little bit old school where when I came up in the business, right, me and my business partner were literally like carrying springs with 2 ladders right next to each other, right? A big 6-inch spring, you know, 4 feet long, whatever, you know, sweating, you know, and we're both climbing the ladder one run at a time, right? You know, just, you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. Keep going. Yeah, take a break, man. I'm dying here. You know what I mean? Like I mean, ladder shaking, not even like roped off at the bottom. Like you're waiting for the ladders shaking so bad because your legs are shaking so bad in your arms for it to kick out, and you're just gonna slam to the floor and hit. You know, your face is gonna be like a watermelon on this dock plate. Just so I'm kind of like old school. You know what I mean? Where I look at it and I go, damn, it's nice having a scissor lift. You know what I mean? And then, but then there's this whole liability with it, right? The safeties or this or isn't working right. There's a huge laundry list of it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? That thing is so much safer. Yeah, maybe the brakes don't work as good as maybe they were when they're brand new. So what if the stickers got a little overspray on it with paint? You know what I mean? Like it's just so many things I look at and I go, dude, I go, this is way better than when I first ever had it and started out. You know, I was climbing beams and stuff, doing all kinds of weird stuff. HB 1030. I might have to look that up. What's an HB? Let me check this out. Let me check this out. Where's Mr. Google? So it's an HB 1030 scissor lift. I forget what our company is going to. They're going, or not our company, but our rental company. They're going to these red ones. And I tell you what, they had one that was really small. It was a pretty nice little unit. It was kind of a, I think it's a Chinese type unit, but you know, it worked. I don't think I've ever seen one of these ones. Have you had pretty good luck with the HB 1030, Tony? I mean, I see it. I mean, I don't know if it's obviously as good as maybe like I just like the genies. Um, you know, especially since our rental company deals with them. And when I talked to a technician there one time, I said, hey, I said, what do you guys like? And he goes, genies are typically the easiest. He says they're the best. They're simple. And I'm like, ooh, I like that word, simple. You know what I mean? Because what's that one that we have? Um, and it's got these weird things with the arms that always freak out, and it'll cause it. So when you're up in the air, which is to me, that's more of a safety issue, right? When you can't move, because how many times have you been doing a garage door spring, right? A big spring, and you need to slide down, right? Otherwise, you're leaning out of the scissor lift and you're exhausting yourself, right? That's more of a safety issue. And we've had the part replaced, and you got to grease it, and you got to oil it. It's something to do with something that flips down, and it's been just kind of a real pain in the butt. But we finally, I think it's working good. I haven't heard the guys say it's been a problem lately, you know. But what I've been looking for is I'm looking for um, a cover that we could just put over because I see one of our competition has one when they leave it stored outside. And I thought, boy, it'd be nice if we could just, I'm sure there's a company out there that makes them universal in a sense, but just a nice cover to put over to keep the rain and stuff off it. Because, man, when they get full of snow and ice, no, but that's no fun. You know what I mean? And we got the one that's got the shelter, but I don't think the guys like driving it that much. A lot of air blows on it, and it's a little bit awkward, but it's a nice setup. So, yeah, I tell you, it's hard not to buy them from the rental companies because you just they've been hopefully somewhat serviced, and you can kind of see them. They got a variety of them, and typically you can drive it, you know, which is nice. Versus you got to drive, you know, somewhere to pick up this lift and um, you know all that stuff. Oh yes, old days. No, why? Oh man, I wish I could get rid of this little whatever this thing. Remove. There we go. Hopefully. Oh man, I didn't remove. Crap, I removed your message, Tony. I'm sorry about that. Was me. I was trying to get rid of this little heart thing so I could read your message. Maybe I can put it back on here. Put user in time. Oh, I can put you in a timeout, Tony. Don't make me put you in timeout. uh, ooh, I can add you as a moderator. Tony, we might have to try that sometime. I don't know what that all means. Probably gives you the power of Thor. I don't know. Um, maybe I can read it better on the phone. I'm gonna read it on my phone. It says, yeah, now until now, feels like we're on a was it says buyout in the lake sway back and forth. Hopefully I can get the bushings. Yeah. We had my old scissor lift. I remember this guy that was riding with me. He didn't like the heights, man. And our I don't know how to explain it, but it was the way it was laid out. It didn't matter how we did this. We were on like cracked concrete in a sense. There was a drain, and I remember we had a beam. We had to get up on the beam, and then because they have a big lift through there or whatever. I remember I grabbed that beam, right? I start swaying, being stupid. I start swaying the scissor lift to see how stable it was. I just wanted to kind of know because I thought I don't think this thing's too stable right now. And that thing started going pretty good, and I was like, all right, enough of that. If I keep going, I could really probably I could push this scissor lift over, right? And I remember that guy, boy, his eyes got so big, and I unfortunately had a little bit of pleasure of like torturing him. But I got to the point where it was unsafe. I don't want us to get hurt, obviously. But yeah, I kept remember thinking, boy, the concrete, something's not right down there, with the grate. And but it was one of those situations we had no other options. We had to be parked there. We couldn't park any other way. There was a little bit of a taper, so if you parked another way, the scissor lift wouldn't work. I mean, I've had it, but one thing I find out too with these scissor lifts, a lot of guys don't know about, at least I didn't know about it, was that you got to, they almost make like the same models, but one's like a 300-pound lift, and then they make like a 500-pound lift. I could be off on the numbers a little bit, don't hold me to it. But I only found that out because I was going to purchase a new one, and I was dealing with a vendor on it, and I remember him telling me, that that there was a difference in the weight. And I thought, oh my gosh. I figured, scissor lifts were always accommodated for, like if it's a bigger unit, it's going to have a bigger cylinder. And then they're going to add, that, hey, there's going to be X amount of pounds in here. And it was almost like you could buy I'm sure there's a reason they do it. I'm sure some of the reason they do it is because if you're a big corporation, right? Like let's say I had a fleet of guys. I had 12 pickup trucks and I got 12 scissor lifts, right? And Johnny overloaded this at one time, right? And he flipped the scissor lift or he broke something or whatever. Well, I'm not going to give him the 500-pound because he uses the darn scissor lift to lift the garage door up at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure there's a reason they do it because it was very minute money wise. It was like another, $600 or something like that to get the upgraded cylinder. And I thought, why would you not do the upgraded cylinder? Because I'm sure you guys are like me, right? You've been on that scissor lift, right? With two guys, maybe two sets of springs, right? Commercial springs. You got to take some down, you got to put some up, whatever the combo is going to be right then, right? The battery's almost about ready to die, so you don't want to go up and down out of this thing a million times. And you go to lift that thing, right? And it's, and you're doing what I've done, right? You're holding on to the hinges as you're jiggling, right? Trying to get the scissor lift to keep going up. And it gets past that certain point, and then it'll finally let go and it'll go. But if you got the right cylinder, right, it just powers through it all day long. No, it doesn't even think about it. And honestly, that last scissor lift we bought, the Genie, I about guarantee it has the weaker cylinder on it because we thought at one time it was the batteries. Put new batteries in it, didn't change nothing. Thought maybe it was a pump, had them inspect it. There's nothing wrong with it. I thought, I never got a chance to go talk to the technicians on it and be like, is this the one that's got the crappier cylinder on it or whatever? So, you know what I mean? Just something to always think about, Ooh, 750 plus. Heck yeah, man. You had a lot of weight by the time, you think about, typically us guys are around, 200 some pounds, plus some, minus some, whatever. Then you get a tool bucket up there that's whatever, 50, 80 pounds. The time you start throwing up a couple shafts, you got your commercial springs, springs are, I mean, those things are heavy as snot to get, and, just the dirt and debris and with it being a little bit older unit adds up. Heck, you might as well knock off a couple 100 pounds right there because it's just an older unit, the pump and all that kind of stuff. Feels like we're on, yes. What does it say? If you have next to our name, what is Mr. Sky Overhead talking about? He says if there's a wrench, maybe that's between you guys. I don't see no wrenches. on my end anyways. It says if you have a wrench next to your name, you can share links in chat. Interesting. That's kind of neat. Because I always wanted to, like, and sometimes in the chats, I've been in other people's, whatever, and I was like, hey, I wish I could send a picture. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't that be cool? Like, send a picture of something, whatever, whatever they're talking about, be like, hey, check this out. But yeah, man, hopefully you can. So I wonder if, oh, it says you have to make, I'm new. Come on, man. Let me see if I can click on you. I'm going to try it because Mr. Sky overhead, you're always here, and Tony. I'm going to try. I don't know what it's going to do. It probably just gives you power. What does this say? Add as a moderator. What does it tell us to do? It says add as a moderator. It says manage a moderator. Can manage block words and change chat modes in live. I don't know what that means. Also has capable of standard moderators. Standard moderator can view, remove chat messages, and put users in timeout. Yeah, what the heck? Let's just try it. There you go. You've been granted. Mr. Sky Overhead, you are a moderator. And Tony, for the fun of it, we're going to put you on there too, bud. Da, 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 da. Let's do add as a moderator. Now you guys are going to jack my channel all up. Tony's on there now too. Tony's got the wrench. I don't know what's the power, man. Come on, show me the power of Thor here. Obviously, I know you guys can, like, probably, it'd be cool to see what it's like on your end. You guys should take a little video sometime. You have to send it to me. It'd be interesting to see. So, Tony, you gonna fix this thing yourself? The scissor lift, or are you gonna take it into that repair, not the repair shop, but where you rent it? Because I'm assuming they repair them as well. But I've done some work. We had a hydraulic line, I remember, that would constantly, it kept getting pinched somehow on our scissor lift. And I tell you what, man, obviously, I always have this, I'm sure as all of us do, I always had this fear that if that baby breaks, especially some of our builders, especially new concrete, oh my gosh, I don't even have any clue, like, besides like kitty litter type stuff, like, how do you get that out of the concrete? And I always figured it was going to be that really high-end person that, like, that's just going to be like, what the, did you, like, you're going to pay for this. You're going to break all this concrete out, and you're going to, that's always been a big fear of mine. You know what I mean? And that was always kind of why they probably won't do nothing for you, but I always thought if I rented a scissor lift, I thought, well, maybe if I rent a scissor lift and that happens, they'll be like, well, unfortunately, that was on our clock. We're going to have to, do something. We'll pay for a cleanup crew. I mean, probably not, but it was just always that when it's your machine, right, it's 100% your problem. Because I was always a little concerned about that. Okay, so I see. What's this? So Tony, you're gonna have to say something if you're still here, bud, because I see Sky Overhead. His showed up with a wrench, but Tony, I don't know if yours worked or not. But Tony might have had to leave. It's understandable. We all have lives. We have things we got to do. We got to watch, whatever's on TV. We got to play with the kids too, right? Family's important. But gosh, I can't remember what we got charged when we used to ended up, oh, oh my gosh, this is crazy. This is awesome. So I see your thing. So what is this? It takes me, obviously doesn't do it here, but I see you put a link on there, Mr. Sky. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you guys can kind of see that. You probably can't. It's probably not worth putting on there. You got the link. You can click on it yourself. Oh my gosh. Somebody falling on a ladder, dude. Ouch. Ouch. So here's my friend. Oh my gosh, falling off ladder. Oh my gosh, that was you. They actually got your friend on there. Dude. Dude, that's some scary stuff. Let me rewind this a little bit. How did was that ladder not roped off at the bottom? I didn't see. Also, I kind of seen somebody come crashing down. Oh no. Oh no. Dude, that's like my worst nightmare. Oh yeah, I kicked out. Oh, right on a stinking printer too, or whatever that is. Dude. Yeah, you gotta tie those ladders off, that's for sure. It's the older I get, I've realized how important it is to take safety. You know, when I was younger, safety just, you know, I could take a 20-foot fall, not going to bother me. Not really, but it's amazing how when you get older, you realize why they always stress health and wellness and everything. Um, because, I mean, you only get one body, man. And it's just, I tell my kids this all the time. You know, I always tell them about the car, right? If you only could get one car, you could pick any car, it doesn't matter the price. You only pick one car, right? And they always go, yeah. And I go, that's like your body. You only get one vehicle for this whole ride. So you better take damn good care of it. And, you know, taking a saw to the leg, to the knee, that's not a good idea. That's what I did, obviously. It was really stupid, right? It was one of those things that could have been prevented. It was just my stupidity, honestly. Oh, it says the guy was supposed to be holding the ladder, wasn't. Oh my gosh. He had to buy them parts to fix it. Oh man. Those are the worst, man. I tell you what. Because, you know, you think about it, right? It's embarrassing as hell to fall off a ladder like that. Super embarrassing. And then to break somebody else's property. Oh, you know what I mean? And you already know in the midst of it, you're like, you don't know what. It could be, you got to buy the whole machine. It could be just the top. It could be the glass, the parts, whatever. You know what I mean? But you know how it is, how these things turn into a can of worms. You know, they start putting the parts into it and then they go, well, it's still not working. It's going to need another $1,200. And you're just like, and if I would have just put a $8 strap on the darn thing, you know what I mean? From keeping it from kicking out. I remember one time I was working at an oil change place. I'm pretty sure I roped the ladder off because the ladder didn't kick out. But I remember not using the right size winding bar. So for you young bucks out there, and I was in a rush. I was doing this job that I was just in a big rush. I'm up there, right, cranking it. Winding bar's not fitting right, and I remember I was tightening down the set screws on the spring, and I remember that when I did that, I was putting torque on it, so because I was going so fast, it popped out the winding bar on me, and man, I remember that thing come around right, you know, just you know, and I'm like, holy crap, right? You know, so I'm doing the whole like checking the face and everything. And I remember all I kept thinking is my thumb is throbbing. Like, oh my gosh, I sliced my thumb off. And I remember I opened up my glove. I had rubber gloves on, you know. I opened up, I could see blood in there. And I said, ooh, that ain't good. Like, I do not want to take this off, right? And I remember the guys coming up, you know, behind me, and they're like, holy crap, man, you all right? And I'm like, yeah, I think so, you know, I'm all right. And they're like, that's why we don't want to mess with those. And I'm like, yeah, you know, and I was done for the day, which really sucked because I had like 2 or 3 more service calls I had to go do. And so I remember I got down, I couldn't take the glove off. I had to write out the invoice because we were still using paper form. And I'm trying not to get blood on the paper. You know, I'm like trying like hell for my glove to saturate and hold all the blood in. And I remember I got that invoice done. You know, I gave it to them. Here you go. You know, submit it in, PO, whatever, blah, blah. And man, I hopped in that truck And I mean, I headed right back, and it was one of those jobs I always tell you about. Too far away. I was, at least 45 to an hour and 15 minutes one way. So I hopped in the truck, and I already, I was supposed to be out there, right, doing a swoop. So I was supposed to do a couple more jobs. And luckily then I had a secretary. So I called the secretary. I said, hey, tell them, call my customers for me. Tell them I'm done for the day, because my thumb was throbbing so bad. I didn't know if I still had to go to the hospital and get stitches. I didn't know if I could just go home and recover. I just knew I was done. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out. Like, no more play for me. I took a bullet. I'm gonna go get recovered. And so it's just one of those things you always got to remember. No matter what you're doing out there for a job, for a situation, you gotta slow down. You know what I mean? You gotta think about it and say, hey, how is this gonna fail? How is this gonna be a problem? Because things happen. They've happened to me. They've happened to you. They're gonna happen again to me. But you're always trying to, like, like I wear safety glasses a heck of a lot more than I used to when I was younger, right? I was always like, squint, whatever, right? But all it takes is that one piece, right? And you might lose your vision forever. Could you imagine losing your vision in one eye? I mean, I like seeing things, you know. I like looking at my wife. I like looking at my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, losing that all because of one little incident. That's all it takes, So you got to really just think about things and slow down. And I know it's hard, because I've been there, and you're chasing money, and you got to get these service calls done. And you don't want to disappoint these customers. But you always got to remember at the end of the day, to some degree, that these people, like, they're concerned about their situation and probably not yours. You know what I mean? So they could care less if your business goes under. They could care less that you don't feed your kids tonight. You know, they just want their stuff fixed, and you got to be the one that's professional and say, hey, look, I got to go back to my vehicle. I got to take the time. I got to bill you for it. That was one thing that was always tough. It's nicer when you can do a little bit more commercial and stuff, and you can just be on the clock, because you can slow down. When you got stuff that's a bid job, you're always in a rush. You try and do it fast as you can. Typically try to do it as efficient as you can. Just things you got to think about. So, but anywho, I didn't realize it was so late. So I'm going to probably get off here for you guys, because you guys need to go to bed as well as I do, because we got work that needs to be done and people that want our service, especially good craftsmanship and good honesty and loyal people. So I'm going to jump off here. Mr. Sky Overhead, it's good always talking to you. Tony, a couple of the other guys that jumped in here. Like I said, we'll see what happens. Maybe, I don't know if that locks you in, Mr. Sky, for a moderator or not. We'll see how it goes on the next one, right? If not, I'll just sign you back up. But hey, that was cool, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you putting that on there. I think that's awesome that you put that link, because once I get off here, I'm going to watch it again a little more thoroughly, because that sucked. that was hardcore, man. That was ouch. So, all right, guys. Cheers. See you on the next one. Now I got to remember how to shut this off. How do you shut this off?